We are celebrating 10 years of the Quickie Driver Development Program. It began in 2015 and on through today. There's a lot of drivers that have been part of the program, a lot of finalists, but there's only one champion per year winning the Kulwicki Cup. Joining us now is the 2021 Kulwicki Cup Champion, Luke Fenhaus from Wausau, Wisconsin. Luke, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
It's been fun to watch your ride. I saw you race a Bandolero on through, so I might be a little partial being a fellow Wisconsin guy. But that racing began with on the snow ovals, right? On the ice ovals with your dad and a kitty cat snowmobile on through racing through Bandoleros and Midwest Truck Series. It's been a crazy fun ride. Have you ever a chance to look back, or there are pictures on the wall at your parents' house? You're like, I can't help but see what I look like at 4 because my
All
my
right.
picture's still on the wall in my fire suit.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey we've had since I've been 4 years old, really. We started racing snowmobiles with my dad's background and my cousin's background, and that just transitioned into go-karts, bandoleros, Midwest Truck Series. Obviously late models now are a heavy part of my life, and now NASCAR Truck Series now. So it's been quite the journey we've had for a long time, just to relive some of those moments and look back on those pictures are really cool to see what we've become, as a family and as a team. A lot of my late model guys have stayed the same, most of the same, for a long time. So it's cool to look back at those days, and it's cool to look back at how far I've come just from Wausau, Wisconsin. Went to high school at Wausau East. It's crazy to think how far you can go.
And as we celebrate your championship year, I want to date back to 2018 when you first thought about applying and became a finalist in 2019 for the first time in the program. That had to be a pivotal year because you were racing what, maybe just one super late or two. I saw you ran Oktoberfest in 2018. You ran the Midwest Truck Series full time. Ran, of course, at Wausau State Park Speedway. But what kind of transition was that in the mindset? How did the Kulwicki program kind of accelerate the idea that you wanted to do more and expand?
Yeah, right. 2019 was a big year for me to just go to more races, kind of step up our racing program. At that time, we had one race car. 2018, we had one race car, won my track championship. So that's kind of when it all took off. And then we figured we'd give the Quickie Driver Development Program a try, and we did in 2019. And it was tough. It was not our easiest year. We didn't have our best success year as well, but it did so much, a big learning curve for 2021 for sure. And the guys that won, Jeremy Doss and a couple other ones that were involved in that era, was just really good competition, really good on social media, really good in their community activities. So it just made myself to be that much better in 2021.
So in 2021, you applied, you became a finalist again. And what a year that was. How did things start for
Mhm.
you? And what did you guys end up building your program toward, knowing what was ahead to race, not only representing Allen, but racing in a bunch of different races?
Yeah, probably the one of the best years of my racing career, to this date. To obviously be in the program, and just we worked so hard that year on accomplishing that achievement, and to go to a lot of races. I think we ran close to 30 races that year, and won a lot of them. We won Flinger Nationals. Was a big deal for me. That was the bucket list, win that we've always wanted as a team as well. So to win that, win the championship, win races there, throughout the year, was a huge accomplishment. And then to kind of explore outside of Wisconsin and go to more racetracks, just a huge year. And obviously that kind of took off from there, and it started the connections for the NASCAR and down south people.
What was it like winning as the youngest ever to do so, the Slinger Nationals on a Tuesday night in July in 2021? And that was your golden ticket to race in the SRX series against a lot of good guys that have been around for a long time and got awareness for you. That following Saturday at Slinger, you got to race in the SRX as the local guy. Talk us through how big that race was, finishing second between Marco and Stewart.
Yeah, it's just a dream come true, as a 17-year-old kid. You don't even, at the time the SRX race, I couldn't even wrap my mind around it, the people that were going to be in that race and the connections there. And it's just, you look back at it and it's pretty cool, it's just a once in a lifetime deal. And it was obviously the Slayer Nationals was a dream of mine. I didn't expect to be racing in the SRX or anything along those lines. So to win Slayer Nationals, one of the biggest races in late model racing all year, was pretty cool to do. So yeah, definitely set off my year from there. Gained a lot of respect through guys and gained a lot of connections for down south. Obviously, Tony Stewart has been a huge help on my end. So. That was just a dream come true, and I'll be forever thankful for that.
So Tony Stewart, actually, his first Busch Series ride while racing full time in IndyCar was with Renier Racing. Harry Renier, who owned the 28 Hardy's car, his son Lauren, very much involved in all sorts of
Hmm.
development, including getting Stewart signed to a contract, getting Kyle Larson signed to a stock car contract,
Hmm.
other drivers. You're among them. How big was that for you after 2021? You had a decision to make. Lauren was getting opportunities, saying you need to move
Yep.
south. I know what you graduated high school early, even didn't you, to get down there sooner?
Yep. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was just such a big year in my life. I remember from this day, Lauren Rainier, messaging me about wanting to be in the Chevrolet driver development program and moving down there. It was just a huge part of my lifetime. A lot of things were happening. A lot of news was on Luke Fenhaus at that time, and I'm not even out of high school yet. So definitely graduated early and moved right down there and got straight into it. And Lauren was the guy that made it really all happen. He was the big connection into that situation and into that program. And so he started my I would say my NASCAR career. From there I got down south, got involved with Josh Wise, Scott Speed, the whole Chevrolet department. And then it was a ritual to work alongside of those cup drivers and know those guys. So huge part of my life, and obviously made me better now in the outcome.
How hard was it knowing what you knew in the Midwest, moving down there, paired with Highlands Motorsports and the Cars Plate Model Stock Tour? Nothing to be sneezing your nose at there, man. There's a lot of competition. You qualify in their front row at the first two races, Caraway and Hickory, tracks you've never seen before. You
Right.
finished, I think you won 6 times. You started on the front row that season, racing to second in the points in a full run with them. What was that like going to so many different places and racing against drivers you never even seen, much less raced against in that growing year of just 1 year removed from high school?
Yeah, it was a big turning point in my life, just because I never ran with anybody but my dad and my main guys, my main crew chief, my main sponsors, that were involved in my deal. So big turning point on going to the racetracks by myself, going to tests by myself, just being. It was time to grow up, really, and so that's really what happened. And it was a big step, and you got to get outside your comfort zone in those situations to make stuff happen. And so we did. We did a lot of testing. We ran a lot of races, and met a lot of people. So that was the goal, was to just keep hammering away and don't be don't slow down is what I wanted it to do. So yeah, definitely a great first year with them guys, building that relationship with Highlands. Obviously now they're super late racing now,
Mm-hmm.
so it's cool to see them grow as well. But yeah, it led to even more connections.
And when it comes to this, I do want to tie in the Kulwicki Driver Development Program because you spent so much time learning about Alan, representing Alan's legacy, and the determination. We all know that he did a lot with a little. How much was he motivating you in those nights and days? Where you're like, man, if I could only figure this out, or well, they want me to try this now, and I've never done that before. When
Yeah.
it comes to racing in two different series, much less the ARCA Menard Series East the following year, well, now you're racing at Bristol, you're racing against the ARCA National guys, and picking up guitar trophies at Nashville and
Mhm.
beating everybody at Iowa. I mean, those kind of
Yeah.
things just don't happen every day. How much was the Kulwicki influence, I guess, in that just keeping that nose down,
Yeah.
looking forward, and driving?
Yeah, it's just a never give up attitude, whether you're in the situation of a lot of money or not a lot of money or whatever situation you're in. You just never know. You never know when the next big win is. You never know when the next big person you meet and the big connection that leads to that opportunity. You have to keep going, and when that opportunity is there, you have to take it. So to do that, just keep hammering away on what I was doing, getting more races, meeting more people, and making the best of the opportunity. Forgetting about the last race and focusing on the next race is the biggest thing I go about. And so obviously Quickie was such a big influence in that situation because I was moving away from home, and when you go from racing super late models to pro late models, it's almost like you're stepping down a little bit of level. So it was hard to wrap my mind around that whole situation. But I had a plan that God would work it out, and it fully worked out.
It did, and everybody wants to be in your chair. I think you represent 100% of the audience watching this. Short track racers aspiring someday to race in one of NASCAR's top three divisions. That came to you in 2024, and this past year you ran 12 races with ThorSport Racing, based out of Ohio, racing and doing well, and a lot of big tracks. You only ran IRP, Bristol, and I think Richmond as your short tracks.
Right.
So that's another way to go about it. Let's try something different and new. But that proving ground was it a steep learning curve, or was it a I finally got here, I deserve to be here kind of a feeling? Which of the two would it be?
Yeah, I don't think my mindset changes about accomplishing that. I think I'm still on the grind of getting myself better, being better prepared in those situations, because the whole pit stop deal, whole pit road,
Yeah.
the whole aero stuff is so completely different than the late model stuff that you have to stay on it, or you get beat by those guys, and those guys are so close. Those trucks are so close and so good that you have to stay on it, and that starts way before you get to the racetrack. Whether it's with sim or video work or your crew chief and you going over things, you have to stay grounded and keep working at it. So, yeah, and I'm still at that today. There's a lot going on at this moment for following years, and I think just staying at it and keep getting better and being prepared for those situations going further, and hopefully it all works out.
And I really like the fact that at your young age, you're still racing at your roots level in superlights. You
Mhm.
raced in the last 7 Slinger Nationals. You raced in the last 4 Snowball Derbies. I mean, you like racing against some really good competition. But what's that like going back home at the time you lived in Charlotte, going back home and racing with your buddies and racing in superlights across the upper Midwest, the Midwest Tour, or back at some home tracks familiar to you?
Yeah, super late model racing is always going to have a warm, close spot to my heart. It's where I've grown up. It's where I've loved racing from being a little kid to going to State Park Speedway and watching Tim Sauter go around the racetrack. That was what I wanted to do. So I'll always have that in my back pocket, and always will have a close spot to my heart, and always will probably be racing in those some sort of races. So just thankful to have such thankful people around me, that allow me to do that. But also, it's cool to see the transitions from a Ty Majeski or a Casey Johnson now to, my age of like Gabe Summers and Luke Fenhaus, and now to a Penn Sauter and Ty Fredrickson. It's cool to see how that all transitions. And, you just enjoy the process and keep working hard at it, and you never give up.
There's an assumption that you spent every waking moment with Ty Majeski because you're teammates at ThorSport Racing. There's an assumption that you guys spend a whole lot of time getting your super lights dialed in, or talk about your truck setups because your teammates you're at half of the races. He raced again for yet another championship this year. What's that relationship really like, and how much is that really kind of like an expected or a mutual admiration because of the things you got to do on the track together? You got some close
Yep.
calls, and also off the racetrack.
Yeah, we've definitely had our ran-ins with each other, but I think we've grown apart, from that, and we've been closer than ever, I would say, in our entire lifetime right now. So he's been a huge help, even from 2019. I think I first met him, and I remember going to him for Milwaukee Mile, Kakana, multiple racetracks that I never been at and needed to go to and had no background to. So he was a big learning curve guy for me, and helped me in a lot of situations. Still do when I go to the NASCAR stuff and talk about this situation versus that situation, or anything super speedway racing. He's right there to help me along those lines, and obviously a great dude off the racetrack as well. Super smart and knows what's going on with a late model, knows what's going on with the truck stuff. A very impactful guy for ThorSport Racing and late model racing. So huge relationship for me, and yeah, we've had our run in, so it's been good to race with him up front in a lot of late model races, but it's good to have mutual respect as well.
Ah, big time. And it's so neat to see how things are progressing for you. When it comes to the Kulwicki Driver Development Program, do you still keep in touch with others in the program that you were involved in, or they might come up to you like a Levon Vandergeest or a Riley Stengen that were in the program the last couple of years as finalists? from the kind of the same area, but also chasing the same dream you are now living in NASCAR.
Yeah, for sure. Bryce Miller reached out quite a bit, through the same process, and even Ty Fredrickson in the early beginning stages. We've talked about that, and just ran through different situations and different ideas of things to do and work on and just improve. Because if you're gonna win it, it's tough, and you need to stay at it, and you need to do your homework, and you need to just do your best at learning about Allen and it's such a, not even just doing it for the program, but it's such a inspirational thing to learn about him and to take in, that I think it's good for every race car driver to see, because we've all been in these different situations, that I think you can take something from Allen's legacy and put it towards your situation. So he impacted mine in so many different ways and so many different times in my life. It was truly what got me through sometimes, and I'll forever be thankful for that.
Well, it's been fun having a few minutes with you. I could not have said better. A better reason why you need to apply if you're a young driver or know a young driver that wants to be part of this program. January 1st, 2026, on the website, KulwickiDDP.com, is where you can enter to become a contestant and then a finalist and then a Fab 5 Underbird potentially going forward. Obviously, Luke can prove why it's such a worthwhile program. And I can't thank you enough for spending your time. And you'll be forever a champion of the 2021 Kulwicki Cup. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.